Right, welcome. Namaste, Mr. Simons. Here we're looking at multiplication and divisions of exponents, right? Right, so in problem number 1, you have 5 to the power 2, all raised to n minus 2, 3 to the power 3, all raised to n plus 1, 5 to the negative 1, 3 to the power 1 times 5 squared, all raised to n minus 2, 3 to the power 2, all raised to n plus 2. Right, so this problem in short I call the law 4, 3, 2, 1 problem. It follows that order. So we'll always start with law 4 and 3, there, multiplying exponents. No? So if we look there, 2 times n gives me 2n, 2 times minus 2 gives me negative 4. Please learners get out of this habit of multiplying the first term and forgetting about the second term. Concentrate when you're writing the exam. Right, 3 times n becomes 3n, 3 times 1 becomes plus 3. That there I've just left as minus 1. Here also, when you give you more than one term in the bracket, each one inside must be multiplied outside. That's fourth law. So 3 as invisible 1, 1 times n stays n, 1 times negative 2 become negative 2. 2 times n, 2n, 2 times negative 2, negative 4. There, 2 times n gives me 2n, and 2 times 2 gives me plus 4. So they have applied law 3 and law 4, multiplying exponents inside with exponents outside. Right, now if we apply law 2 and 1, we multiply and the bases are the same, we're going to add exponents. We divide and their bases are the same, we subtract the exponents. So start with base 3. The top, that's the only base 3. Everything on top written as it appears. So that stays 3n plus 4. According to law 2, if I come below the division line, I have to subtract. So in short, that means I'm just changing the signs of these. So their positive n became negative n. Negative 2 times negative would become plus 2. 2n times negative, negative 2n, plus 4 times negative, negative 4. Look at base 5. Everything on top stays as it appears according to first law, 2n minus 4 minus 1. If I come below, 2n there, positive, will become negative, and negative 4 plus 4. Right, and from there now we're just testing, do you know how to add? No? So 3n minus n gives me 2n, 2n minus 2n, 0. 3 plus 2 gives me 5. 5 minus 4 would give me 1. There 2n minus 2n cancels. Minus 4 plus 4 would cancel, and I'm left with negative 1, which is very common in your exam questions. Come to the end, there will always be some term that will be negative or to the power 0. And we will test your knowledge of your definitions. So 5 to the negative 1 must go to the bottom to become positive, and that becomes 3 over 5. Right, so I hope you follow the process. Remember, algebra is just pattern recognition. So this pattern that I followed, I'm going to follow for the next problems as well. I'm first going to be applying law 4 and 3, then law 2 and 1, and then simplify. So make sure you understand the process. I'm not going to type it out every time, but that's all I'm going to be following. Right, problem number 2. Giving you 3 squared times 5 in a bracket raised to exponent n minus 3. I have 3 to the power 1, and then I have 3 times 5 squared, or raised to 4 negative 4 minus n. Then 5 squared raised to the exponent negative n. 5 times 3 raised to n plus 2. So again, I'm applying third and fourth law first, you see. It's a pattern. So everything inside must be multiplied with everything outside. 2 times n, 2n. 2 times negative 3, negative 6. Right? 5 also has exponent 1, so it doesn't stay 5. 1 times n, n. 1 times negative 3, negative 3. That stays 3 to the power 1. There again, 3 invisible 1. 1 times 4 is 4, not 5. Ne? 1 times negative n, and there 2 times 4 gives me 8. 2 times negative n gives me negative 2n. Come below, 2 times negative n, give me negative 2n. 1 times n plus 2, 5n plus 2, and then 3, 1 times n plus 2, n plus 2. So they have applied law 4 and 3. Now we're going to the easy, law 1 and 2. So everything on top stays as it appears. Everything at the bottom, we're just going to change the sign. Right, so if I take base 3 first, I have 2n plus 6 plus 1 plus 4 minus n. If I come below the division line, therefore base 3, negative n, negative 2. If I go to my second base given there, base 5, on top I have n minus 3 plus 8 minus 2n. If I come below, I change the sign, so negative 2n becomes plus 2n, there, negative n, negative 2. From there, it's just whether you can add. Generally, my n's or x's or y's, whatever they decide to use as unknowns, generally cancels. Not always, but most of the time they do. So 2n minus n cancels. Minus 6 plus 1, minus 5 plus 4 gives me minus 1. Minus 1 minus 2, negative 3. So you can see generally there will be a negative exponent. N minus 2n gives me minus n. Plus 2n gives me n, minus n cancels. 8 minus 3 gives me 5. 5 minus 2 gives me 3. I must write my final answer with a positive exponent. So 5 cubed gives me 125. 3 to the power negative 3 becomes 3 cubed. And that gives me 27. So my final answer, 125 over 27. Right? Please make sure you've subscribed. Only way you'll stay up to date with content I'm loading. Let's look at the next problem. Right, 5 to the power 2, x plus 1, 3 times 2 to the power x, 2 times 5, x minus 1, 3 times 5 to the power x. Again, law 4 and law 3. So I hope you're getting used to the pattern. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 1, 2. 1 times x, 3x. 2 times x, 2 to the power x. There, to the power 2 to the power 1. 1 times anything stays x minus 1. 1 times anything stays the same, x minus 1. 1 times x, 3 to the power x. 1 times x, 5 to the power x. So they have applied law 4 and law 3. Now I'm going to go to 2 and 1. So my lowest base there is 2. I just like to go from smallest to biggest. There's no set rule that I must write them in a specific order. But I'll start with 2. So base 2 on top I only have x. So that stays as it appears. The bottom for base 2 I have to change the signs. So plus x become minus x. Minus 1 become plus 1. If I go to base 3, I have to the power x top and to the power x at the bottom, so simply x minus x, and I could have cancelled them straight. Right, base 5, 2x plus 2 on top, and if I come at the bottom, minus x plus 1. And plus x become minus x. So x minus x cancels, so I have 2 to the power 0. X minus x gives me 3 to the power 0. 2x minus x, all the x's cancel. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. So I have 2 times 1 times 5 cubed, which is 125. So 125 times 2 would give me 250. Right, so I hope you enjoy the lesson. And for those of you all that don't want to respond to my voices, please like, share and subscribe. I'll try my best to cater for both sides. If you want somebody more gentle, I wish you nothing but the best. Me stop joking around, just now end up in trouble. God bless.